Let me tell you something most people never realize. They are not living their lives, they are reacting to them. They wake up every morning and let circumstances decide how they feel. They let other people's actions decide their worth. They let yesterday decide what today will look like. And without even noticing it, and they give up control. If you want to live a great life, a meaningful life, there are certain things you must never allow to control you. And the first one is this: your past. Your past is powerful, but only if you give it power. Many people are trapped, not by what's happening now, but by what already happened years ago. A mistake they made, a failure they couldn't forgive themselves for, a betrayal they never healed from, a childhood wound that still whispers, "You're not enough." So they live today through the lens of yesterday. Listen carefully. The past is not your enemy, but living in it is. What happened to you may not have been fair. It may not have been your fault. It may have broken something inside you. But staying there, that part is a choice. The moment you allow the past to control your present, you hand over your future. And that's the real tragedy. Because the past is over, it cannot be changed. Replaying it again and again will never make it better. Pain doesn't heal by reliving it. Pain heals by releasing it. Some people say, "I can't let go because what they did hurt me." But here's the truth no one wants to hear. If you live in hatred, they win. If you live as a victim, they win. If you stay stuck, they win. The only way to truly win is to move forward, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve freedom. Holding on to the past is like carrying a heavy chain. You don't see it, but it slows you down. It affects how you think, how you love, how you try. And the worst part? You get so used to the weight that you forget what it feels like to be free, but freedom begins with a decision to say, "I will not allow what happened to define who I become." You are not your worst mistake. You are not your darkest moment. You are not the pain that tried to break you. You are the one who survived it, and that matters. Your past should be a lesson, not a prison. A reference, not a residence. It was meant to teach you, not to trap you. Every scar carries wisdom. Every failure carries strength. Every loss carries perspective. But only if you move forward. The present moment, right now, is perfect for rebuilding. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now. Because the present is the only place where life actually happens. The future doesn't exist yet. The past no longer exists. All you ever have is this moment. And this moment is waiting for you to live fully, to breathe deeply, to stand tall, to choose again, leave the darkness behind you so it doesn't block the light ahead of you. You don't heal by erasing the past. You heal by refusing to let it ruin today. And today matters. Today is where strength is built. Today is where confidence is reclaimed. Today is where a new story begins. Not the story of what happened to you, but the story of what you did after. So ask yourself this: how long will you keep letting yesterday steal today? How long will you punish yourself for something that already ended? How long will you delay your future because you refuse to release the past? Let it go. Not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. You don't need permission to move on. You don't need closure from the past. You don't need approval to start again. All you need is the courage to step forward. And when you do, you'll realize something powerful. The moment you stop letting the past control you is the moment your life finally begins. There is another invisible force that controls more lives than fear, more powerful than failure, and more destructive than pain. Other people's opinions. Most people don't realize it, but they are living someone else's expectations. They dress the way they're told to. They chase goals they don't even want. They silence their dreams because someone once said, "Be realistic," and slowly, without resistance, they lose themselves. Listen carefully. The fastest way to destroy your life is to hand the steering wheel to people who don't understand your journey. People will always have opinions. When you try, they judge. When you fail, they laugh. When you succeed, they question. So here's the truth. If you live for approval, you will die unfulfilled. Because no matter what you do, someone will disapprove. Most people criticizing you are not ahead of you. They're not building. They're not risking. They're not sacrificing. They're watching from the sidelines, projecting their own fears onto your courage. Never take advice from someone who isn't living the life you want. Your life is not a democracy. It's not a group vote. It's not a popularity contest. It's your responsibility. And responsibility means choosing your path even when no one claps for you, especially when no one claps for you. Because the truth is, greatness is lonely in the beginning. Every extraordinary life starts with a season of misunderstanding. People won't see your vision until it becomes visible. And by then, their opinions won't matter anymore. But opinions don't just come from others. Sometimes the loudest voice is the one inside your own head. That voice saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not strong enough, I missed my chance. Those are not facts, those are limiting beliefs. And they are deadly. Limiting beliefs are stories you repeat so often that they start to feel true. Stories formed by past failures, by childhood conditioning, by people who doubted you before you ever had a chance. And if you're not careful, those beliefs become the ceiling of your life. You don't rise to your potential, you fall to your self-image. If you believe you're small, you'll play small. If you believe you're broken, you'll act broken. If you believe you're not worthy, you'll reject opportunities meant for you. But here's the truth that changes everything. You are not limited by reality. You are limited by what you believe is possible. Every breakthrough in history was once called impossible. Every successful person you admire was once doubted, including by themselves. The difference? They didn't obey the voice of limitation. They questioned it. They challenged it. They replaced it. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to move despite it. You don't need confidence to start. Confidence is built by action. Action creates proof. Proof rewires belief. And belief changes everything. Stop saying, I can't. Start asking, what if I could? Stop repeating old narratives. Start writing new ones. Your mind is either your prison or your weapon. Train it, because if you don't control your thoughts, someone else will. The world will tell you to stay average, to stay comfortable, to stay quiet. But average is crowded, comfort is addictive, and silence kills dreams. You weren't born to blend in. You were born to become. And becoming requires courage. Courage to disappoint others. Courage to outgrow environments. Courage to believe in yourself before there is evidence. Let people talk. Let them doubt. Let them misunderstand. You're not here to be liked. You're here to live truthfully. And one day, the same people who doubted you will ask how you did it. Not because they believed in you, but because you believed in yourself when no one else did. So stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for wanting more. Stop asking permission to be great. You don't need validation. You need conviction. Because the moment you stop letting opinions and limiting beliefs control your life is the moment your power returns. There are two things that silently control more lives than people realize. Not because they are evil, not because they are wrong, but because people give them too much power, relationships, and money. Let's talk about relationships first. Because the people closest to you can either raise you or restrain you. Some relationships give you strength. They challenge you to grow. They remind you who you are becoming. But others, they drain you. They normalize weakness. They keep you tied to an old version of yourself. And here's the hardest truth. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to walk with you forever. Some people are only meant for a season. They were there for support, for learning, for survival. But if you keep holding on after the season has ended, that relationship becomes a cage. Growth requires separation. You cannot rise while surrounded by people who are comfortable staying the same. And this doesn't just apply to friends. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's a partner. Sometimes it's people you love deeply. And that's what makes it painful. But listen carefully. Love does not mean self-betrayal. Loyalty does not mean self-destruction. You are not required to shrink to make others comfortable. You are not responsible for carrying other people's fear. Some people will resent your growth because it reminds them of what they refuse to change. And that's not your burden. If a relationship costs you your peace, your self-respect, or your future, the price is too high. Strong people choose alignment over attachment. They don't abandon people. They stop abandoning themselves. And once you learn that, your life changes. Now let's talk about money, because money controls people in two very dangerous ways. Some people worship it, others fear it, both are trapped. Money is not evil, and money is not freedom. Money is a tool. But when you let it define your worth, your decisions, or your identity, you become a slave to it. Some people stay in jobs they hate because they're afraid to struggle. Others chase money endlessly, trying to fill a void that money was never meant to fill. And both lose. Money should support your life, not control it. You don't measure your value by your bank account. You measure it by who you become in the process. If you sell your integrity for money, you pay a price that money can't repay. If you avoid growth because you fear loss, you stay poor in ways no amount of money can fix. Wealth without purpose is empty. Purpose without discipline stays a dream. The goal is balance. Use money. Don't let it use you. Build wealth. Don't worship it. Let money be a servant, not a master. Because the richest people in the world are not always the freest. Freedom comes from control. Control of your choices, control of your habits, control of your mind. And that brings us to this moment. This is the moment where everything comes together. If you want to take your life back, stop letting the past define you. Stop letting opinions limit you. Stop letting beliefs cage you. Stop letting relationships drain you. Stop letting money rule you. Take responsibility, because responsibility is power. The moment you accept full responsibility for your life, you reclaim control. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more blaming. You decide who you become. And that decision changes everything. You were not born to be controlled. You were not born to live small. You were not born to survive. You were born to build, to grow, to become. And becoming starts now, right here, right now. Stand up, choose yourself, and never again let anything else control your life.